something happened. We're having technical difficulties on one of the streams. There we go. Please. All right. Welcome, one. Welcome, all. It's good seeing you guys. If you were here on Thursday, then we celebrated the first Starving Colonizer Day, first of many. Unlike Thanksgiving, which is unpredictable. Sometimes it's the last Thursday, sometimes second to last Thursday. Starving Colonizer Day is every day because it requires you to no longer contribute to feeding the colonizers, the people who are robbing you, starving out the CEOs. We're going to create a society where the CEOs go on strike and then we realize we don't need them. That's the whole point of the holiday. Um, I took Friday off because it's the most popular black holiday of the year. It's expanding constantly. Um, this is I'm having issues with the streams on one of the sites, so we're gonna see how that works. But yeah, um, like expanding Black Holiday. Um, now at this point, the holiday is longer than Black History Month. It's Black Friday. It started off as Black Friday, then it just kept getting bigger and bigger. Started like a week before, ended a week after. Now it's just like the month leading up to Christmas and a few days after that. It's hard to explain, but the deals got weaker and weaker. However, you gotta love black. Black is beautiful. So I give a cheers to that. It's a beautiful thing. Watching it evolve. It's one of those black holidays. I was there to see the evolution, see the disappointment, see people fighting over discounts on cell service or whatever. It's a tumultuous time, but it's just beautiful to watch it grow. Holy shnikes, we're having two streams are down. Two streams are down. All right, we'll figure this out. Okay, okay, one up, one back up. I'm having the most issues. Report a problem. Okay, that is a problem. Um, sorry about that. I got like an impromptu setup, and we're in the process of moving. So everything is just like it's in flux. It's hard to find like my normal shit. Um, and then we gotta like um, set shit up, and sometimes you get like a 30 minute to an hour notice, and you just gotta just get shit ready. So it's gotta be in a mode where most of the shit is not where it usually is. So I long for the days when I had my own green screen room where everything was where exactly it looked like a mess to everyone else, but it made sense to me because it was just so easy to shoot. Now it's just like as soon as I finish this shit, I got to put a lot of all this shit up. But um, all this is relevant for today's topic because one thing we learned, um, or I would like to hope we learned from Starve Colonizer Day, formerly known as Thanksgiving, is you got to know your history. If you don't know your history, it will be taken from you. It will be appropriated by some people who are way lighter than you, and then they'll like do all kinds of shit to your people, and then they'll call you the savage, even though they're the most savage, immoral, disgusting people, greedy. A lot of the natives referred to the European colonizers as it was a form of cannibalism in their minds. It's like they don't view us as human. It's just like it's not really um, they didn't view themselves as inferior. They just understood that the way that they were thinking was backwards. I mean, this is when they started to illegalize fraternization amongst the colonizing and the colonized. So soldiers, they'd be thrown in the brig for just talking to the people whose land they were stealing. Because once they talked to the people who they were supposed to kill for the crown, they'd be like, man, your society is better than ours. I only came over here to colonize you because I was in a debtor's prison. You know, like they told me, like, I stay in jail or I go over here and murder people and get a house. Kind of like what's going on in Israel. Um, because the Balfour Declaration was signed in 1917. That's when the Europeans decided to give a bunch of land that was broken up during the end of the Ottoman Empire to white Jewish people who were treated like shit in Europe. They were treated like colored people get treated in America. You know, Hitler, he learned from the Americans. He was like, I'm going to treat these Jews like you guys treat the blacks. And thank you to the American businessmen who funded me, as well as the British royalty. I appreciate the funding. So he took all this money from our corporations and the British royalty, and he like did all kinds of fucked up experiments, killed people in mass. You know, it was just like he was just the final solution is what they called it. But his whole goal was to set up the Fourth Reich, which now we realize is Israel. Um, the Nazi project, Ashkenazis, is what the Israeli government has become. Um, it's in the name. Ends with Nazi. It's the the European Jews who are so racist, like they're anti-Semitic towards other Jews as long as they have melanin in their skin. You know, like they had a sterilization program for the Ethiopian Jews. Um, and outside of Judaism, you know, like they just say that Palestinians. I'm sure they got a lot of Palestinian Jews they don't want to hear from because they want to steal their land. It's really white supremacy. But if you critique their racism, they call you a anti-Semite, even though they are the most anti-Semitic people. Not just for what they do to the Ethiopian Jews, but let's not forget uh, Arabic people are Semitic as well. So um, it's really just a big land theft. And they tried to learn from the American colonial project, and they turned themselves into the sympathetic characters. It's like, oh my God, look at what these European, German, white people did to us. We have to go steal those brown people's land to atone. And none of that makes sense. The whole narrative it just falls apart once you scrutinize it just a little bit. Um, but there's so much money funding the propaganda where it's just like if you just start questioning it a little bit, you will be turned into an anti-Semitic, hateful person. But my pronouns are thou and thine. I'm filled with a love divine. I love all y'all. I love all most Jewish people. I hate Zionists. Well, I hate the ideology of Zionism because that is coarse white supremacist. And it's just this whole false belief that Hitler had that it was the world was dominated by white people. Like white people were everywhere. All these hot climates, they had the lightest skinned people creating all these advanced civilizations that the Europeans wanted to take credit for. They saw all the advanced shit that they were doing in Egypt. They had lights in the pyramid. They some people say it was aliens. Maybe they had some connection with aliens. Who knows? They talked about planet Nibiru in ancient Babylon. Comes into our orbit every 3,800 years or so. Maybe they're like Christianity is preparing us for some encounter with alien life that they know is due to cross us at some point. who knows? I'm not going to go into all that. I mean, even though, like, yeah, the government is saying that aliens are real, and I don't trust my government, so it's a distraction until evidence is presented. Anywho, um, but yeah, yeah, once certain areas started being colonized, these people went from savages who need to be like who have like no god. They need to be like shown civilized ways by rape, murder, and plundering, which is what the Europeans do. And then once they discover something of note, then they take credit for it. So once they started getting ancient Egyptian secrets, really it happened after the fall of Egypt was it was really due to internal Egyptian politics. You had like aristocratic class that felt they were entitled to rule, because of their birthright. And then you had people who thought that, like you should earn your ability to rule. You should be able to come from nothing and still uh, um, have the ability to affect change. Um, and because it should be the people who are closest to the centers of pain who should be closest to the power because they understand how it affects the people at the bottom. So the aristocracy, they started working with um, Darius the Great, the Persian leader. He was the first person to help bring down Egypt internally. It was really a internal Egyptian conflict, and it was the when Darius the Great chose sides. That's when you had certain people or certain fractions were able to attain power. Then the other fraction they started working with Alexander the Great of Greece, and some people think he was actually great. And I mean, the only reason I'm inclined to believe it is because he died in his early 30s under some mysterious pretenses, where looked like he was poisoned, like alcohol poisoning. Um, and then this was around the time Rome was co-opted, or Greece was co-opted by Rome. And Roman Empire, they were ruthless. The reason why Romans and Greek folks are known for acting is not because they were the first to act, is because they were the most prolific liars. Most of their domination came uh, due to their lying. It's not like they created the most advanced weaponry. I mean, you look at uh, um, their predecessors and how they were able to build empires. It was on the backs of Chinese weaponry. Like they used Chinese gunpowder. Asians have been using guns and all this stuff, but then they just kept refining new ways of killing people because they don't engage in diplomacy. It's theft, plundering, looting, the most vile, violent methods possible, dehumanizing people to the point where you can enslave them for generation after generation and normalize it, and then like create codes to reinforce it. Um, yeah, so it's just it is like, and then the most fucked up part about it is once you do all this fucked up, crazy, psychopathic, insane shit, like you rewrite history so you are the moral authority. That's why it's just like I said, it is very important for you to know your history because if you do not know it, it will be taken from you. Then you'll be getting knocks in the night, like people like you be like, hey, this is our house. You're like, nah, I lived here my whole life. This is my parents, and their parents handed it down to them, to me. It's like, no, but we lived here thousands of years ago. This is when the land was all white people, which is something that never happened. That was like a Hitler, one of Hitler's fevered dreams. But the Ashkenazis, They pass that shit down as gospel. Um, and like I said, it's because they co-opt that history. You know, with the burning of the Library of Alexandria that was acquired through ancient Egyptian knowledge, they created simultaneously a book that drew from some of the stories that were in the Library of Alexandria. You know, a lot of Babylonian, ancient Egyptian texts. Hitler, you know, Jesus was plagiarized like a motherfucker from ancient Egyptian and Babylonian texts. But even in like the version of the Bible that was forced onto the Roman people by Constantine the First, um, like the Romans were the bad guys. They killed Jesus, right? So the cross is just a reminder that the state is more powerful than your God. The state will kill your God, right? And then by the time we get to the American Reich, um, they have the COINTELPRO program, which is designed to hunt the Black Messiah and prevent the Black Messiah from uniting people against a movement that will overthrow our evil tyrannical government, right? And our evil tyrannical government loves Israel. They're like this, hand in hand, evil as evil can be, uh, as bloodthirsty can be. But that's why it's just like anybody who my government celebrates, I question. Anybody who my government eviscerates and says is evil, I celebrate. Or it's just like, yeah, I mean, I definitely go against the narrative. I investigate. Why is this person evil? Why is Russia bad? Russia. It got something to do with them bringing black civil rights leaders to their country and showing them love, treating them better than our government did, like they did with Paul Robeson. Got anything to do with that? Got anything to do with exposing the Sykes and Picot's lines? How the European governments were carving up Africa and different parts of the world, just knowing that they were going to be colonizing, raping, and pillaging those resources. Does it have anything to do with that? I don't know. Got anything to do with them coming to Lincoln's defense when the bankers were about to invade our country when they were funding the South? One of the things Lincoln, he didn't give a shit about slavery. What I mean, he if he could win the Civil War without freeing the slaves, he would have. But one of the things that is seldom talked about, he was switching us to a debt-free currency, a currency that's just not based on debt. Um, and that's what grew the ire of the European banking cartels. Um, and it was Tsar Alexander. Um, I think it was Tsar Alexander the First who was he sent Russian troops to San Francisco and New York to prevent the European banking cartels from stepping foot into the Civil War. And yeah, we should be celebrating Russia. Only time we went into Russia against their government's will, their government's knowledge, was when we combined with the um, I think it was Italy, Britain, Italy, Britain. I think it was Spain and Portugal. It was four different countries. I think those were it, but I could be off a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it was the polar bear expedition. It was Woodrow Wilson. He authorized us sending troops in secretly into the Russian country to overthrow the Red Russians. And we were celebrating the White Russians. We call them White Russians because the real racist people like Hitler and Joe Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu. A lot of these racist sacks of shit, they view Russians as Asiatic people who are craving slavery. I went into a live show and I was chopping it up to make it its own video because I don't think I was able to post it on my Rumble. I'm having issues doing live streams on there. But anyways, yeah. So it's like the Red Russians and the White Russians. The White Russians were the good guys in the eyes of the American government. Um, but yeah, really they're the bad guys in the eyes of history because yeah, they're the fascistic forces that kill class people, um, and they try to just squash all uprisings. And like I said, know your history because even if like you identify with the non-melanated people, if you're not rich enough to if you're not rich enough where you have to work to survive, like it would behoove of you to uh, co- join with the underclass, the people who get vilified in your book, um, because yeah, if you have to work to survive, like you might as well be colored, and that's something that some people have difficulty understanding. They identify with like you know the people at the top because you guys uh, share the same melanin level. But yeah, you should just start waking up to your class instead of your color. What's up with your foot? What you want to see some feet, bruh? Listen, I love you guys so much, but we're not gonna start getting into the foot fetish stuff here. I'm not gonna be posting any pictures of my feet. I'm not gonna be like sluicing any kind of mashed potatoes or Thanksgiving leftovers through my feet. Not here. That's gonna be one of my only fans. You gotta be a paid subscriber to watch some of that foot play. So that's just not gonna be here. I got family that can pop in at any given moment. So you want to see the foot stuff? Just foot, OnlyFans and Patreon. Patreon got multiple foot videos where it's just like I'm showing what them toes do. You know, them toes are some hoes, cause they freaks. You want to see them hoes toes? Check it out. Look at your chalice. It's the holy grail, my fella, my fella historian. Um, love you, Nate. Spit your truth, man. Pew pew pew. That's what I do. Pew pew pew. Well, yeah. Theme music. Oh my goodness. But yeah, and it was like another. Yeah. Well, this is something I didn't get into, and this is also a big factor in the history because first when we start talking about Native American history, you know, because they have a history thousands of years longer than anything that we've been told, especially, you know, anything the Romans can even fathom, right? Um, yeah, so they've been like here for a long, long time. Yes, there's been like warring fractions, all that shit, people competing for land, and shit gets played up, make it seem like they hated each other. No, no, no. I mean, there's been whatever contentions they had. I'm sure that they would rather see another native person um, take over the land than what ended up happening, which is you had a bunch of Europeans who ended up uh, um, stealing their land, not viewing them as human, rewriting their history, right? And one of the things, you know, like the genocides that took place that they don't like to really delve into is, you know, the people who survived. You know, they were lucky enough to be some of the one of the few thousands who survived after killing millions. Um, the their kids were taken against their will into these American Indian boarding schools, right? And then I'm sure they got the exact same plans for the Palestinians, probably already intact, And it's just like if you're a melanated person and you went to public school, what do you think that is? It was the precursor was the American Indian boarding school. They learned how to just fucking fuck off your whole history. We're already speaking the oppressor's language. In that language, we got all kinds of self-hate mechanisms. You know, and it's just like idol. It's teaching you to idolize certain attributes. You know, that's why it's just hard for me to say someone's white or black. Because one, I'm considered black. You look at the skin tone, I'm a little more melanated than people who are considered white for the most part, unless you live in an area where you got a good tan. But skin's not black. It's slightly more melanated. Um, and when you see a white person, definitely not white, more pinkish, right? But in the language of the oppressor, it's just like white. White usually means good. Dark, bad. Dark magic, evil. Black magic, worse. Um, but yeah, like we're so divorced from our own language by design, uh, divorced from our own history by design, and had this conversation with the professor at my school. He was a teacher for the Black Panthers. We just went into depth on a lot of different shit. But yeah, one of the things he was like trying to emphasize was the fact, like other countries or other people, like you talk to someone of Chinese descent, they weren't stripped of their language. They still know it usually. They weren't stripped of their history, usually historically not illiterate. All right, like it's just like when you understand where you come from, you have pride in it, right? Right. But when it comes to certain people, like they want you to think like, oh, you came from the jungle, you were saved by certain people, the people who killed all your ancestors and enslaved them. Like, those evil motherfuckers, they saved you, really. And it's just like all this splendor. Look across the street. You see that fentanyl addict just falling over themselves, homeless, depressed, strung out. It's kind of like looking at your future, because that's what the game is designed to put you in. We gave that to you, and we're giving that to everybody. We're gonna give you your own bridge to sleep under with all of these other fentanyl addicts. We're gonna give you some more unregulated drugs so you can kill yourself, and you're lucky we gave it to you. We stole your house, yes, but we gave you that bridge. That bridge that's fallen apart and decrepit. We could fix it, but we're giving that money to Ukrainian Nazis and Ashkenazis in Israel, because that's what we do. We love Nazis, and we're better than you. And yeah, so keep that in mind. We're the moral superior, and you're lucky that we found you. So yeah, interesting. Nate, let me see the feet. See, and that's the thing. I just went over this. This is not gonna be one of those feet videos. It's not gonna be one of those foot fetish videos. It could get there. It could get. I show off the feet. I tell you, my toes is hoes. It's not like I don't say it just because it rhymes. That's a reason why I continue to say it that particular way. But the toes are hoes because anything goes with the toes. They might as well be froze because they so cold from being Such dirty hoes. But that is not something I do on the stream because my family pop up. So I'm gonna be taking a lot of my Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving. You got me sounding like a colonizer. Sound like one of the colonizers. Starve a colonizer day. I'm gonna take some of my Starve a colonizer day food. My toes, they're gonna be just going through it. Mashed potatoes, gonna be crushing it up, all up in the toes. It's gonna be you're gonna see the foot fungus just shooting out of the potato. It's gonna be nasty. I'm gonna take I can't eat the ham, so you know that's going in the toes. I'm gonna floss my feet with the ham. That's how nasty they are. All right, so keep that in mind. You want to see this? And my family is just turn to close earmuffs. Put on earmuffs. You want to see the toes get freaky? That's gonna be on Patreon.com. You gonna find me, or you gotta be a subscriber. NatesVlogs.net. I gotta figure that out because it was a lapse in that shit. I gotta talk to somebody so I don't have to reset that whole shit up. But it's gonna be some freaky toe shit when I get that shit reset up. So donate, Patreon, and of course, you know the old OnlyFans. Holes is toes dot nasty foot fungal infection. That's my screen name on there. All right. So check that out. It's gonna be lit, litty. Hi Nate, love the hat. Is that a pimp cut? Let's address this in stages. Well, the hat appreciates you. I made it myself. That's what I do. Do a lot of wardrobe design. Made the shirt as well, man. You gotta see the shoes I just made yesterday. Those is I'm like waiting to debut those motherfuckers. They just dope. Um, is this a pimp cup? Nay, I say this is a chalice, a holy chalice pimp cup. You offend me. There's no pimping going through my brain, my blood. This is all about, like I said, own that history. See that? That is a scarab. You know why the scarab is so sacred? Because they create love, life, and beauty in a big ball of shit. That's a metaphor for this world we live in. We inherit a ball of shit. Let's make something nice out of it. That's all I'm trying to do. And when you go at it pound for pound, they're the most strong animals on this fucking planet. All right, as strong as a motherfucker. They don't seem it, but yeah, most strong pound for pound that you can find. So yeah, scarab. It's a celebrated insect. You know, bring me this ball of shit, planet. I'm a whip it into shape. And I know my style is uncouth, but I'm speaking the truth. I came here to leave the youth a better world and the world a better youth. So that's this is about no pimping in it, no pimping. But I appreciate the compliments or the insults. I'll try to take it as a compliment. Somewhat insulting. Toe that would not quit. See, you towing the line right now. I already told you I'm not gonna be talking about my feet no more. You want to see that foot game? You want to see that foot game? I know you want to see that foot game. That's for the price of a ounce of fungal cream a month. You can see me doing all kinds of just freak nasty. I put all kinds of shit in my feet, and then sometimes I take this shit directly. I put it under my toenail because you know the fungus just done chewed it up. It's just toenails just flopping on there. It look like a Muppet talking. It's just my toenail. I put something under it, and I scoop up that foot fungus, and then I take what I just scoop the foot fungus up with, I put it in an envelope and I mail it to the person who sent me the biggest donation on my Patreon. Now, this is something you need to know because it sounds like you like to feed. So you want to like get some of that real legit like for real foot fungus. It's just not that like that cutesy foot fungus where it's just like yeah, that's a commercial foot fungus where it's just like they don't get into the nitty gritty of the fungus. You want to get like some of that, just that nasty, like, oh, what is that? Is that, why is there so many colors? Is that a legitimate mushroom growing from your toe? If I eat this shroom that came from your foot, would I have like trips like one of those psychedelic mushrooms? You wanna like ask yourself some of these questions. You got to donate on my Patreon. I give you one of the foot a foot shroom. It's just a legitimate mushroom that grew from my foot. But it only goes to the highest paying Patreon subscriber. I sent it to people who were they just gave a nice Patreon donation and they were just like, I didn't even want this mushroom. I don't know why would you send this to me? Some people they were legitimately perplexed why I was sending them a foot mushroom. And that's cool. That's cool. But there are people out there I know that they're trying to get the foot mushroom. They just don't have the money. So if you do get a foot mushroom that you do not want, don't just throw it away. Save that. Put that in your pocket. That's an investment. Because there's some weirdos. They're like requesting that foot mushroom specifically. Especially after my last OnlyFans video, because it was just the shroom. It was untreated. I've been working so much this week. It was a bunion, it was a corn, and that mushroom. It just started to blossom, started just growing its own little thing, and there was just some people that were like, I want to pay extra for that. So if you get it, sell it. That's my advice. It's a solid investment. Much better than investing in your 401k. They're just gonna rip you off. That's the corporation that's raping you. It's gonna be bought up by BlackRock. They're gonna gut it, fuck you over. Invest in my foot mushrooms. I'm gonna call them foot spores. Foot spores, much more solid investment than 401k. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest on that one. I was just about to ask if they knew where the mushrooms came from. they they gotta, well, when you get one of my like legitimate foot shrooms, my foot spores, it comes with a video of me cutting it off before I mail it. Cause I know that's a big part of the draw. Like people, they just want to see me like playing with my feet. It's a lot of foot play. Like I said, I don't do it over here. So stop asking me for the foot play. I don't do it over here. That's more of a OnlyFans / Patreon privilege. So, you follow me on Patreon, you subscribing, yeah, you're gonna get the good stuff. You're gonna get me like showing them shrooms, shrooming. That's what I do. That's what I do. I love you, bro. Your videos helped me out of depression when I was a kid. Well, that's like, immensely beautiful. It's always good to know the effects I have on people. You know, um, and it's just, now it's just an evolution. After I had so many issues with, the online platforms being censored and whatnot. I've been getting into a more in-person situation, which is, it's it's different kind of traction can be acquired, and it takes a lot more time because motherfuckers have no idea who I am initially. Um, but over time, I hear like the effects I can have on people, and that's a little bit more rewarding to like hear from the horse's mouth. You know, sometimes seeing a message is it's its own reward. Um, but yeah, I definitely want to combine the two. So, well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I could go into right now, but a lot of stuff I don't want to. I'm just gonna like let kind of some of the stuff unfold. Right now, I'm in the process of learning um, a lot of new shit, which I hope to bring to the online. So, um, and maybe to your town. So, as soon as we figure that all out, I'll keep you abreast of the updates. Bars. What, you're drunk? You want some bars? Why are you going to a bar, brother? Well, that certainly seems solid. Yeah, absolutely. Foot stocks. Let's see, foot stocks. I'm not going to the foot spores, bro. But you can invest in foot spores. So it's just like the way the ratio works out. Okay, for me to like explain foot spores in a way that makes sense for you to invest in because it's a sound financial investment, I have to just kind of just explain how shitty a 401k investment actually is. See, a 401k investment, it's like investing in literal shit, right? It's just like when you see shit, you just don't really want to, like, no one would invest in it. It's like feces. It's like, it's garbage. Shit is just like, it's, maybe the flies like it, but like as a human, I would never want to invest in shit. I want to get shit from around me. I don't want it to be in my general vicinity. However, when you compare shit to feet, yeah, feet can be nasty, especially when they got giant mushrooms growing from them. Don't get me wrong. Like you see a giant mushroom growing from a foot, it could rub you the wrong way. It definitely could. However, if someone had like a mushroomed foot around me, uh, I'd rather that than just to be surrounded by shit. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, investing in foot spores, it may not sound like the most ideal investment, but when you compare it to like literal shit, like a 401k, it seems better, right? It seems like just a more sound investment. Like I'd rather have people with feet around me, right? You'd rather have people with feet than like someone shit around you, right? That makes sense. I hope it makes sense because I want you to invest in my foot spores. But that's another website. I'm not gonna show off the feet right here. Even though I did just get a mani pedi. Check me out. Look how well kempt them fingers are. Just imagine them toes. Them toes. What them toes do though? Battery low. Battery low, but them toes is hoes though. All right. How was your Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving. What is this? Oh, Thanksgiving. Formerly Thanksgiving. You talking about Starve a Colonizer Day? Um, I was well fed because I'm not a colonizing force. But I also saw to it that no colonizer ate off of me. So I did my part to starve a colonizer. Did you? I'm investing before your spores get traded on Wall Street. Mark my words. Foot spores are going to be bigger than NFTs. And I had multiple people trying to get me to sell some NFTs. Even though my initials are in NFTs, I didn't want to do it. I was like, that seemed like some bullshit. I don't want to rip off my fans who are mostly like me and struggling and poor. Not gonna do it. I can't get like with a straight face sell them an NFT. I had someone try to tell me, no, this is a good investment, and it was like, oh, Snoop Dogg selling NFTs, and it was the Twitter guy, Jack Dorsey, sold his first tweet NFT for like $500,000. It's like, oh my god, this shit is gonna be off the wall. They're gonna be selling all kinds of bullshit that I can get for free for millions of dollars. But yeah, no, that's not a thing. No, anyone wants to buy. I'll tell you what people do want to invest in. And I'm only saying this. I can't show you the proof of it on this particular website. Foot spores. Let me tell you why people are investing in foot spores, also known as shrooms. Shrooming. People say that they're shroom. They call me a shroom foot, is what they call me. It used to be an insult, but it became um, it's still kind of insulting, but I've learned to take it as a compliment because these toes are some hoes. But you gotta see it for real, for real. That's on my Patreon. Only the paid subscribers. When you start seeing me, I take the sock off slow. You're like, what is he doing? He taking it. You got them socks on. Them some nice socks. You're just showing us those socks. I take the sock off slow, right? It's just so slow. You just like, what's this? What's that? I didn't put no moisturizer on my feet. They dry. When I'm taking the sock off, it's sparking a little bit because the foot is so dry. But then in the middle, it's so wet, so moist from the fungus. Because I say it personally. I say it all the time. I say I'm a fun guy. Fun guy. What is a fun guy? That is the single. It's a single fungus in the singular. But I'm a fun guy because I got fungus. Mm-hmm. You know why I do? You know why I got so many funguses in my toes? Because my toes is hoes. But I can't go into the details of it. And I feel like I keep alluding to it because y'all just keep bringing that whole the toe hole out of me, and I gotta stop that. Foot stocks, that that mushroom play. What's goody, Nate? What's goody? Well, we talking about a lot of stuff. I'm trying to keep it like just on the topic of colonization, but we getting a lot of just the people asking for some foot play, just a lot of weirdos. Uh, but before this was also something I wanted to include, because on the topic of colonization, if you don't know your history, it will be taken from you. Lewis Powell. Lewis Powell, he was the Supreme Court Justice appointed by Nixon, right? He was appointed after we had May Day 1971. That was the largest civil disobedience movement that this country has seen yet. I think I say yet because I'm hoping we can build it. I feel it in my gut. I'm going to see something bigger. However, um, biggest civil disobedience movement ever. Right, it's the culmination of all of these movements coming together. Big part of it, Panthers, they were coordinating. A large part of that, man, I'm not going to get into Eldridge Cleaver and his history. That's another thing, but it was a book I read May Day 1971, and they attributed the Panthers part to Eldridge Cleaver's coordination. But anyways, um, yeah, May Day 1971, biggest civil disobedience movement ever. Then we have the Powell Memorandum. It was Lewis Powell. He saw these movements taking place, and he realized, shit, for us to prevent anything like this from happening again, we have to co-opt every facet of information. So he was like, he told these corporate leaders, people who were paying him off, and as well as all his homeboys, he told them, He was like, "Look, um, if we want to prevent a revolution from taking place, we have to take over the education system. We have to take over the news media. We have to just take over any place they can get information, theater, fucking anywhere they can like just get music, all that shit. It has to be in our grasp. We have to dumb them down so they don't realize that we're the ones who are robbing them, right? It was a corporate blueprint to dominate democracy, as it was described on this Greenpeace article. But this was something I just did a web search on just to just find something to show you guys. If you don't know anything about the Powell Memorandum, just look it up. It is just like a testament to where we are now. I mean, where we would be, because I mean, they thought that they could use corporations to take over our media, schools, music, all this shit, and of course, corporations have no influence. Um, Corporations, they can want whatever they want, but we have democracy, so that's why we have healthcare for all. Um, that's why corporate subsidies don't exist. They don't like all of the money from our government goes to needy Americans. We don't have any corporations sending people into homelessness because corporations can't own property, right? Right. That's in a parallel universe probably. Until we get it into this universe, the Powell memorandum is pretty relevant. So if you don't know anything about it, I would advise you to look into it. I'm glad you're explaining because I don't want to get on the wrong footing. I see what you did there. You're talking about the Powell memorandum because that for some reason what you just said reminded me of my feet. I don't know if you noticed my toes is hoes, but I can't go into details on that. That's Patreon.com. You want to see them foot videos? Mm-hmm. They get nasty. Uh, I've been on a binging streak of your content, Odyssey. The way you connected World War Z with what's going on in real life was spooky. Um, well, I mean, you know what? That was like one of the last videos on YouTube. As a matter of fact, I didn't post that video on YouTube. I did a live stream talking about while I was working on that fucking rewind. I was just breaking down the synopsis of the fucking movie. I wasn't like drawing any parallels to what's going on now. I was just like explaining literally what happened in the movie. And that live stream of me talking about the movie got one of the strikes that took me down. So yeah, I don't know. Are they preparing us for something? Have they been preparing us for something for a very long time? Maybe. Who knows? But it is concerning that you can't even like discuss what happens in a movie that was like that debuted like a decade ago without being censored. So I don't know, but I appreciate you for looking into all of that. You'll need an OnlyFans for that, LMAO. Well, yes, that's how it happens. What's something you stopped eating after becoming educated? Um, I want to say after becoming educated. I guess you could say after becoming educated, meat. uh, well, it was really after working on a farm. I lived on a farm for a little bit, and it was a long story. I kind of alluded to it in previous live shows. I never made the video just putting it in a more concise manner because it was still pretty fresh. But now it's been a few years since it happened. Maybe I should do something. But it was like I was being followed by some of the people who were there. But I mean, it was definitely a big part of like a big part of it was raising the animals. Like you raise an animal, it's hard to kill an animal. Like I had like multiple chickens. It took a while for them to build trust, but then we had it was either a hawk or an owl killed some of the little chicks, and then the ones who survived they became like super loving because they realized I was there to protect them from the birds that would eat them like it's nothing. So it was like it was a bit part of that played a big part in me getting away from meat. But also uh um the landlord who um who rented the spot to me. His daughter came like randomly. It was just like all of a sudden she was just there. Like she wasn't staying there. She was staying like further away. And all of a sudden she was there all the time. And it was like all this sadness around. It was just like tripping. And I was just like, what's going on? He's like, I don't know, something. He didn't want to go into the details. Then he was like, he started mentioning like her mom was missing. And I was like, oh, she's probably at one of those, events, like a music event or something. And he was like, I don't think it's that. Then a few weeks later, he was, or the news was saying that she confessed to murdering her mother and dismembering the body. Um, and this was, like it was shortly after that. He was trying to offer me some veal, which I never had veal before. I wasn't about to start any new meats after that. I'm not about to be like, let me try some. I never seen what veal looked like. I'm gonna try this new mysterious meat after your daughter's mother's body was never discovered. So it was like that played a part in it, and it was other variables. And I was thinking about just I was supposed to do like a video a while back, but then it was just I was still getting comments from people who knew me from the farm, and I was like, maybe it's just a little too soon. So I don't know. But yeah, I still want to do something about that because it was yeah, it's one of those moments that definitely shaped the way I view things now in a different way. You're a vegetarian or vegan? Well, technically pescatarian. You gotta keep in mind I'm a fisher, so I still eat sea animals. I don't eat anything you could pet. So yeah, um, still eat fish, crustaceans, but yeah, no land animals. Have you ever experimented with shrooms? I've tried them. I tried them really in chocolates. That's it. I mean, just for my birthday, I had some shrooms that were. I'm pretty convinced they were old because after I had like a really good shroom chocolate, it's not like I didn't have the visual hallucinations that other people describe, but I had like a pain in my shoulder, and that pain was gone. It was euphoric feeling. Maybe I shouldn't be going into that because there's different shrooms. I don't know which ones I had. I had like I said, they came in the chocolate. I know people who had really bad trips. Um, my minds were, I just felt good. I couldn't stop smiling. I had like long ass emails and text messages that I was sending to people. Um, different. I wish I knew what kind I had when especially for the painkiller, because that was shit was it was much needed. Better than weed, better than kratom, better than any other thing I was taking for my pain. Um, yeah, non-habit forming. In fact, I don't even want to say non-habit forming because they're hard to come by. But yeah, I didn't feel like I needed to continue doing it. I mean, sometimes when I have like pain, I think about them again. Like, oh my god, if you know, kratom isn't helping, shrooms probably would. Was it easy to quit meat or did you go through withdrawals? It was difficult to quit meat. Not just because most shit has meat, but even if you ask specifically for no meat on something, I've had people add meat to shit. Like if you go to a Mexican spot, you're like, hey, I'll take a bean burrito, a bean this, or something with no meat option. You'll still get meat. So it's just like I've had a burrito I thought was a bean burrito had meat in it, or I had like what you call it, a little wonton I thought was a veggie wonton had pork in it. So yeah, that's why the hardest part about it is like a lot of shit people think is meat free has meat in it, or they just assume you want it meat and they hook you up with some extra meat, and it's just like yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's not like something I miss. I mean, there's times I smell something, it smells delicious. I'm like, and it's barbecue, but it's really what I'm smelling that smells delicious is the seasoning, right? And it's really about finding some alternate option for that. I've been a fan for what has to be a decade. Can we have a hatless reveal? Absolutely. That's the OnlyFans. Cause I use my hat. I put in one of the videos. I'm just gonna tell you how nasty these feet are. One of the videos, my feet they're doing like a little talk. It's like like a hand puppet, but it's just with feet. And they like I put the hat on it. So I take the hat off and I put it on my feet. And yeah, it's just like it just adds to the foreplay. Cause it's like it's the foot with the sock, then it takes the sock off, and it's just a bare hat. Well, it's something you got to see. So I guess technically it's not hatless because the hat just shifts to my feet. But that's OnlyFans territory. Oh my goodness! And I'm like realizing I got hella messages over here. I'm not even looking at. What up, Nate? Hello, hello, Nate. I don't want to be anti-Semitic, but the way they carry themselves makes me want to just show them they can be touched. Um, you talking about the Palestinians because they're Semitic people. That's they already got enough problems. What the fuck? What's your mainstream channel? Mainstream. I don't fuck with the mainstream. Mainstream is a little too mainstream. I'm more of a niche channel. So, oh my goodness, and I'm like closing in. Oh, I'm over an hour on certain platforms, and I still got to urinate. So I'm gonna do that, and I appreciate you guys for showing up. I love you. We're gonna be back next Saturday, and probably sometime before then. Just gotta figure that all out. It's a busy schedule. But thank you guys for showing up. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I love you for it. So deuces, silly gooses, and stop asking about my feet. Don't talk about it. Be about it. I told you how to see them toes, cause you know they hoes. Um, I'm about to like step on some starve a colonizer day mashed potatoes. Just like slush my toes through it. I'm gonna send some of that fungal mashed potato mix over to the highest paying Patreon subscriber. So you want to be that person. You want to get like a mysterious uh, mashed potato with just it just got like athlete's foot in it. Subscribe now. Um, it's nasty. It's beautiful. We can't talk about it anymore on this stream. I'm done talking about it on this stream. If you want to see it, don't talk about it. Be about it. Just follow me over there. Patreon and my OnlyFans. And for OnlyFans is nasty, foot rashy, foot fungal infection dot baby toenail, no baby toenail, uh, and that's my OnlyFans handle, and you can just watch it there. It's gonna be nasty, yes, obviously, but I know you want to see it, so holler at your boy, and don't forget to be good to each other. Peace.